Okay, here starts episode 3 of my Dark Souls walkthrough. This one is going to be a bit longer, so uh, here I'm just going to start continuing with the parish. So my goal when I come through the area is generally just to take out the channeler. I don't really care beyond that, because he does not respawn. So I almost got him and I thought I would be able to come back, but buffed Boulder Knights are they're dangerous, yeah. Thankfully the crush shield there blocks most of his attack. This is a disappointing part. Yeah. Anyway, so heading back with the same goal in mind, I am going to try to take out the channeler. This is, of course, doing it after I've upgraded the Uchikatana, where it was dealing 60 damage heavy attacks before, and now it's doing 178. So that's definitely a good thing. Alright, moving forward to the Boulder Knight on the stairs. I find the easiest way to deal with him is to parry him, because there was very little room to move around him. But also, keep in mind that you need to be on the same elevation level as him in order for the riposte to activate. Of course, that does also mean that he cannot parry or riposte you if you're too far below for him. He can parry you sometimes, but very rarely finishes if you're too far below him. So now the channeler is gone, and I can move on in. Because unbuffed, those pink guys are the Dreglings, Hollow, whatever they are, pink guys. They're not really much of a threat, especially with poise, that currently I have going with the Wolfram. So, as I was saying, especially with poise, these guys really aren't a threat. It is a good idea to take on this area with spear, any kind of long distance thrusting attack. Especially one that you can attack behind the shield with rapier would be ideal. Not because they do lots of damage, just because it's needless to get hit, almost, in that they funnel in there slow enough that it doesn't really... You don't need to take too many on at a time. So, heading up to the Gargoyles here, if you were to go in the other hallway that I have not traveled to, that's where you would find Lotric at the end, behind some wood boards, which show some light through, so... You need the mystery key, though, which you get under... you have to go down some stairs where the armored boar was. realize that now, I'm sorry. But, Gargoyles, that's the trick, I think, to beating the second one, is wait until he does his fire, and then you can go just beat on him from the back, because he can't stop his fire attack until he goes the full duration of the thing, so that's easily your time to start hitting him. So, coming up here is the first Bell of Awakening, the two of which, when both rung, will open up Sen's Fortress. So, ahead here we're coming to Oswald the Pardoner, who is, he is the partner of Velka. Velka being
I am Oswald of Career. Come it.
He is the one that sells indictments. I buy homeward bones from him, but like I said before, I'm saving up for the 20,000.
Thou art welcome.
Which, like I said, is to the end of getting the Crest of Artorias from Andre. You can request absolution from him, meaning you can cleanse yourself of sin, which means if you accidentally whack a NPC, which I would not advise for the most part killing the blacksmiths unless you're about to go into a plus, because everyone comes back. But no, if you antagonize, or not kill, obviously, but if you turn hostile an NPC, then doing that should make them not hostile. So on the note of Oswald, he uses Velka's rapier, which is an intelligence scaling rapier. And one of the things I never liked the weapon, one, because I don't like intelligence builds, but also because I just thought that it was, if you have the intelligence that would be required for it to be effective, then you could just as easily use at least great or probably crystal magic weapon, and I mean, it would be good, but it wouldn't have the same kind of damage output as something with a buff, and that's just me. Because it is a rapier, it would get the benefit from the Leo ring that you get from beating Ornstein second in the fight, but again, I'm fairly sure it's a split damage weapon, and Leo ring only boosts physical damage, to my knowledge, so alright, so what I am doing here is taking advantage of the Crest of Artorias. This opens up a shortcut, like there is another way around, which I will get to later, but this opens up the way to Sif, first of all, and this is also a huge area for PvP. Forest Hunters wear a ring, which allows them to invade at, I believe, an unlimited level range, so they will. So here, all these Forest Hunters can be pretty dangerous,
Is it not
but if you
thou
talk to
fared
Albina,
well
the big
to
cat here, then any ones that are pursuing you will back off. It makes them not hostile at the moment. So here I'm going to get the stone armor set. It's heavy, it offers high defense, especially fire defense, and it cannot be upgraded. One of the things about that is, by late game, once you start upgrading your weapons to +9, +10, or Twinkling Titanite armor to +5, you're going to want to use those, because for the same weight, they can have oftentimes double the defenses that they started out with at +0. But in order for, say, Havels or stone armor set, or I want to say Smos, in order for these unupgradable armor sets to even stay competitive, they have to have very high stats to start out with. So if for no resource investment at all, you're going to get a greater defense to weight than than you probably will get from most unupgraded standard armor. And here comes my lapse in memory. Yeah, I swear I've killed these tree guys, Ents, whatever they are. I've heard them, I've read it on, I think it was the wiki that they're called demonic foliage or something. I don't know, but no, they're very good. They drop blood red. I don't see much use for moss clumps, in that unless you have high bleed defense armor, then by the time that it would be worth it to use one, you're going to get bled out anyway. But if you're using a high bleed defense armor, obviously that could make a large difference, especially coupled with something, the Life Hunt Scythe, for example. Though usually anyone using that has either Blood Shield or Shadow Set or anything else. So going here, this is a Crystal Lizard, which I thought they were random, but no, people know exactly what they drop. They drop rare upgrade stones. Twinkling Titanite here is now available to be bought later in Anorlando for 8,000 each, but it is not available to be bought anywhere for quite some time from this point, so it is used to upgrade Black Knight weapons, special armor sets, special weapons. So here, as I am going to go fight Havel. So I have just made my trip to Sif's boss room, but I did not aggro him, solely so I can go get the Hornet Ring, which, as any of you into the lore would know, was Kieran or Sieran's end at Artorias' grave. So here I'm gonna go fight Havel. I love Havel. This isn't gonna be the most fun fight to watch, because it's the same thing over and over. But I guess it could have been worse, and it could have just made you watch me circle for backstabs the whole time. Havel scared me to death for the longest time, because you could have your shield up and there was nothing you could do about it, I thought, and he would just flatten you. Later I came back with an upgraded shield, and he couldn't break my guard in one block. See there, I partial parried him and it took more than half my health. So from here on out I'm good. Took all my stamina and more than half my health just for a partial parry, which any attack in the game I say that tentatively. Not sure about bosses. I know things. I know giants in Anorlando. I know spells. I know everything else can be partial parried, but I'm not sure about enemies like Seath or the Bed of Chaos. I'm not sure, but so I got Havel's Ring here, which combined with the Wolf Ring should give me some decent poise, because I'm able to wear heavier armor. I'm just kind of experimenting around, I guess, with armor sets to try to fit into that weight range. So stone leggings have decent poise. Again, they cannot be upgraded, so they're as good as they're going to get. Here starts the fight with the Hydra. So the Hydra actually killed me one time here first. I was almost to it, and 2 of its magic bullets got me. I think as I was rolling, which gives it some kind of damage bonus. So my intent here was to use the Hydra's attacks to kill these golems, because my Kasana does very little damage to them. So the idea is to stand in front of or near them, and the Hydra will take care of them for me. They have very high magic defense as well as physical defense. I'm not sure about lighting, though I would guess fire is up there as well. But they only give 200 souls, so I don't by any means recommend farming for souls. At least because by the time that they're at all worth the time, then you're going to have a better place to do it. You're switching out Havel's Ring or the Rusted Iron Ring, which allows me to move, like I said, in water without movement penalty. I didn't think it was necessary to change to lighter leg wear, so all I did was just take the leggings off, so now okay, so the Hydra can be taken care of in 2 ways, either by doing a certain number, which I do not know, to its overall number of heads, or by killing each individual head, which leaves something like 20% of its overall health left if done at minimum damage. I know that you can kill it by making one stump and just shooting all the stumps, but using a bow at that range really reduces the damage of it, because bows, arrows, once they're out of range, do dramatically less damage. So these heads, once you're in range of them, always attack in the same place, but the body is aimed at you. So, okay, see there's a ledge there that you really don't want to fall off, but he is kind enough not to. As I was saying, see that one on the right where the hammer is will always attack to your left. It will always go to the opposite side, and that's usually the toughest one to take care of, because it goes the opposite way, and without the Rusted Iron Ring, it's a lot of times it's difficult to get over there in time before it goes back. That gives the benefit to casters as well as anyone with a ranged attack because you don't actually need to make it over there to hit the head. As I said before, see, he's all the way over there, so it's tough because without falling off the ledge into the water, see, he will never hit me as long as I stay in this place. So I'm trying to see how much damage an unupgraded longbow and some wooden arrows will do. And it's looking like 29 apiece, which is not really ideal. So, of course, I'm just waiting here and I notice that he's there, so the almost never used two-handed dagger of katana, which is very impractical, but does reasonable one-hit damage and swings higher than any of my other swings, so it can get to the range that none of my other attacks can. So Hydra's down, he drops a dragon scale, which can be used to rank up in the dragon Path of the Dragon Covenant, which gives you the dragon head that breathes fire at the cost of stamina, and eventually the torso stone, which allows you to do a dragon roar, which increases damage for a short time. So over here I am going to try to save Dusk of Ulasil. This was included in the original game, though the rest of Ulasil was not added in until the DLC, which came out last October, I want to say. So this is a gold golem. He's very predictable in his attacks. I'm actually doing a lot more damage to him than I thought I would. I assume he has extremely high magic defense. I remember fighting him with the sorcerer and I barely made it with the number of casts that I had. I think I had to end up fighting him with the dagger, and I was doing more damage with him with just a dagger, unbuffed or anything. So that's not good. At least not a good reflection on the magic that I had at this point. But by killing this guy, you can get Dusk, who's inside, and
so most
in fact get the Dusk crown, which is a key component of many intelligence builds. The Dusk crown gives, which I will get soon. The point is to go here, back to the shoreline, where you will find Dusk's summon sign. Usually it's glowing and white, like any other summon sign, but it was a little bit hidden this time. After which, Dusk will show up and offer to sell you spells and in Ulasil Hydra Catalyst. That catalyst is... I don't believe... Yeah, I know it says it scales a C with intelligence. I just put the Common Soldier Wasteloth on because pants. So I couldn't see the summon sign anywhere. And so I know it appears anywhere in this general area. I guess this time it just decided to appear there. So Dusk appears here. She sells Ulasil sorceries, which, as with all sorceries, are intelligence, but they're not combat sorcery. They're not for fighting. They're cast light to repair. Chameleon turns you, depending on where you are,
for a
into
very long
some
time.
kind of scenery in the
It
forest.
was there long after I had so gleeful. If thou art in
the forest, it'll turn you into a tree. In the berg, it turns you into a barrel. You can turn it into a pot. Anything else, it's just to blend in. You still move, but if you attack, roll, anything to that effect, then you'll break out of the chameleon. I did buy Hidden Body, which takes 14 intelligence, and I'll be using that later. What it does is makes enemies see you and be hostile at a much shorter range, making getting through a lot of very, not, I don't want to say cluttered, but very congested areas simpler. That was the Crown of Dusk, which raises the power of sorceries and pyromancies by 20%, but it also increases the damage you take from those by 30%. It is essentially the second shot at the monk's head collar, I think it was called. It was the head wraps of the mad old monk. So the Crown of Dusk is good for a pyromancer. It is good for a sorcerer, anyone who wants to use sorceries. So now I'm going to farm some souls, which, yes, this is kind of an exploit, kind of a glitch, whatever, but not really, because they're just enemies, and something in their AI tells them not to get too close to the edge because they'll fall off. And so this is just my path that I take to run through this area. Like I said, usually I just use it to farm up some souls to kind of make up the 20,000 that I got, or that I had to spend to get the crest of Artorias. So you just aggro all of them, and then you hide in this corner with your shield up. Then, trying to get to you, they come over. Presumably because they don't see that up there as a ledge, they can come down and they try to get to you. And you can either kick them off if they don't fall themselves, or hold up your shield, and many times they will fall on their own. This can get you 8,000 to 9,000 souls, I want to say, in just a minute or two, and that if you don't have any +5 weapons yet, this would be the time to get them. You can easily use these souls to buy the shards to get any weapon at +5. If you want to buy the repair box, the armor, weaponsmith box, anything from Andre, this would be the time to do it. You see, backstab there was maybe a fifth of his health, maybe. And combined with the thief, who would get me anyway, fighting all these guys head on at this level would be very difficult, or with this gear, essentially, be difficult, but mostly would just take a long time. So, hiding in the corner here, it does get rid of them. The bandit here, it does a lot of kicking, but unfortunately for him, I do more. So here's the thief. I figured I'd fight one head on, just so I didn't... Right. So... Thief will, a lot of times, just stare at you, especially if you have an attack. I got close up to the thief, and I'm pretty sure it's a woman. So, I don't know if it's a her or a him, but it looks like a woman under the hood. I'm not positive about it, but the thief will come up and backstab you, and the ring of fog that how kind of transparent and almost just like a silhouette, that is the effect of the ring of fog, which can be acquired through being in the Forest Hunter Covenant and getting 3 wins, or being in the world where the host is killed 3 times, trading a skull lantern, which you can get either in the catacombs for killing all of the necromancers, the guys with who shoot the fire at you, or in the pit where Patches pushes you down. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then we'll get to that point. And you trade the skull lantern to Snuggly the Crow, who is back at the asylum. Give me warm, soft, whatever she says. Anyway, there is an entire trading system. You can only do each trade once, though. So I know that each of the kinds of moss for a Twinkling Titanite. You can trade the Xanthus crown for Ring of Favor and Protection. You've got some of them are very worthwhile trades. So here I stacked up my humanity to 5 to increase my item discovery. This was kind of a risk for me, in hopes to get the Black Knight Halberd because I love the thing. This is the one Black Knight I am not good at parrying, but I'm absolutely terrible at parrying for the most part. But Black Knight Halberd does take 30-some strength, and as with all Black Knight weapons, 18 dexterity. But I did not get it, and I can't think of another Halberd Black Knight until the kiln. I think there is one, but I can't remember it at the moment. So now I think this is where I head up to like I said, there is another way to get to the Sif fight, and that is just a ways further down past all the forest hunters in Elvina. So if you don't have or want to spend the 20,000 souls, then you can just go this way. I believe you have to finish the Hydra first, or else it will shoot you on your way up, but I haven't actually tried. So anyone who has the DLC and has played through it, all 3 major bosses, probably. I thought this is kind of funny. I did not at all mind climbing up this ladder. But I don't want to give away too much. It's not really spoilers anymore, but I thought that was, it's a very memorable moment. So over here is the soul of a brave warrior, which is 5,000. Very, it's a lot for this point. So, as I said, this is just another way to get to Sif, who you need to take down for his ring, the Covenant of Arturia. Sif is obviously not wearing the ring, but that's the only way to get it, and you need it to fight the 4 kings, which is a necessary part of the game. So, I'm just trying to get my bearings here. Hornet ring in case anyone tries to attack me. But I forget the trees do not have backs. So, I didn't really know how to handle this. And then I realized he has tons of health, and that these are the upgraded tree guys, so... And that he has friends, and I'm in a forest full of trees, as most forests consist of trees. So that's Ferris, who politely shot me in the back there. Drops Black Bow of Ferris, which is an S scaling bow, I think even at plus nothing. So see, this is the way back to the area. I much prefer just getting the Covenant of Artorias, but like I said, that's me. So this is the, I actually lost the tape. this is, when I say tape, I mean the recording, or didn't record right. Anyway, this is by the bridge, where the dragon originally fired you on the way up, following the Taurus demon. Simplest way is to go up the ladder from the bonfire in the Berg, and go back to the beginning of the bridge from there. This opens up the shortcut to that room, where the 3 hollows, or 2 initially, and then 1 kicks down the door. Okay, so here's a dog, new enemy. They induce bleed and dodge into fires. Again, poise is very helpful here, especially against the dogs. Here is Griggs of Vinheim. If you are a sorcerer, this is going to be a very important part for you. If you walk in here, you get the sorcerer's set as well as a catalyst, with up to, I want to say, around 25 intelligence. The Ulasil Ivory Catalyst, which again was 1,000 souls from Dusk, is going to have a higher magic adjustment, seeing as it's not really, it doesn't scale as well with intelligence. If it scales at all, I'm not too clear on that. So here, I am attacking doors because I don't like them, but mostly because there are hollow thieves behind them. So once you get to this point down here, these doors all kick open. That is a backstab, and that's what that is, and I'm proud to have shown it to you entirely on purpose, I promise. These thieves can, their bandit knives are good at criticals, like the backstab. They can parry you, so watch out for when they hold their knife at you. Like that. This is a mail breaker. Not the most useful. It's classified as a short sword. I was entirely positive it was a dagger. It's not really worth much of anything. It's a piercing weapon. Alright, standing here will trigger this dog to come at you without opening these doors. So I don't know what hit me there. This is, if that bleed were to have filled up, I would have been dead. I am going into this door to hide, just so I can flask, because the dog doesn't understand doors as well as my guy, I guess. I don't know. So, backstabbing a thief is somehow more gratifying. I really can't tell you why it isn't parrying me, but I'm kind of happy about it. So, going down into here is the black leather set. It's the thief starting set along with the target shield, which is a shield that requires, I want to say, 11 dexterity. It is absolutely awful for blocking. It has terrible damage blocks, but it's more effective for parrying, which I clearly wanted to demonstrate there. See? You learn things. Alright, so, following up this way, you don't have to do this, but I greatly value the shortcut. Stepping into this sewer tunnel, you might recognize it. It is actually the tunnel that connects the early undead bird to Firelink Shrine. The door said does not open from this side when you last went there, and now it does not need to open from that side, so you can head on into, we're about to take on the Capra demon from Firelink, where you have an automatically kindled 10 flasks, or you can head from that first bonfire in the Berg to that door that I unlocked by those stairs before, and that will, of course, you'll have to go through the town of all the thieves first, which I do not recommend, because you're likely to lose if you flash that way. So, this is the Capra Demon. This, very, 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 very much recommend poise for this. This fight is 100% about his dogs. The dogs will break your poise, they cause bleed, and they are most of the fight. At least, most of the challenge of the fight, because fighting 2-on-1 is more than twice as difficult, and 3 of anything on 1 is not easy. So, the goal here is to get to the top of the stairs, and hide over here and take out the dogs one at a time. Capra is going to try to hit you. That almost got ugly. As was just evidenced, definitely be careful of the fact that you're swinging with your right hand to a wall on the right. I haven't actually fought Capra in a while, because at least not fought him like this. I would strongly recommend playing conservatively with a 100% physical block shield up. When he starts with his two-handed hits, do not try to block that with a small shield. An unupgraded hero shield, to my knowledge, will crumble. His two-handed, two machete hits will probably break your guard. As a general rule. And that is Capra. As you could see, I took his heaviest hit he had and did not flinch. That is a combination of the wolf ring and the stone legs. So, Capra, one of the scariest things to new players, is down, and now we are going to head into the depths. So, in the next video is Depths and Blighttown. So,